Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Off the Shelf. I'm your host, HD, and this week, what we found off the shelf was... Ninja Scroll, released in 1993, although the American dub came out in 1995. Directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri. Sorry if I butchered that. This film is just like a straight up like action anime film. A bit of horror in there, kinda, not really. But this film was apparently very influential, at least in the States. I looked at the Wikipedia page, and it said it was apparently just as influential as Ghost in the Shell and Akira, which is pretty high, right? Now, is this movie as good as Akira and Ghost in the Shell? No, but is it bad? No. I thought it was... those are high bars, okay? Akira and Ghost in the Shell are absolute classics, but this film is also a bit of a classic, right? It was very influential in the States to popularize adult-oriented anime over here, but apparently was not very popular in Japan, surprisingly. So much so that they weren't even able to get a sequel, like, funded. Still looking for that funding, like, nearly 20 years later. But, this film is more of just, like, it's a fun movie, right? So the fact that the story doesn't really matter, right? Obviously, it's there, and you can like the story enough, but it's the story is more a vessel to get like all the cool action scenes with all the evil ninjas, right? Like that's the whole point of the story is like, oh, look at these cool ninjas fighting each other, right? That's the point. Which is fine, right? Not every story needs to have like fucking 10 layers, super complex characters, all these super in-depth character arcs. Not every movie needs that. Sometimes a movie could just be fun. Right? Sometimes a movie, you can just sit down, watch it, and have a good time. And yeah, this, as I said before, story does not really matter. But what about the ninjas? What about the action scenes? Well, like, obviously the whole film is centered around them. What about them? They're good, right? Obviously, for me, the animation is just average 90s anime, like, fare, right? It's not anything, like, too notable, but it's not bad either. Like, it's good, right? Although there are some scenes that, like, are really, like, if you're epileptic, it'd probably not a good idea to watch this movie. But, I mean, again, I'm gonna make these comparisons. I feel like Ghost in the Shell and Akira do have more striking animation. I do feel like the animation is more interesting, right? There's a lot more with the art in those movies. Not saying that I'm not discrediting this movie's art, but I do feel like those movies had a bit of something to say, right? They had a bit of a message, but also were made to be entertained, but they did have a thing there. This movie has no message, right? This movie is just watch these ninjas fight each other, which again, not a problem. Just just like flying around, blood fountains, killing each other, right? That's fine. I like movies like that. But if you're gonna be compared to two of the most influential anime, like in the States at least, I don't know. I've never heard of these comparisons. And actually, frankly, I've never heard of this movie before. But it was very popular. And I can see why. As I said before, fun action movie, just blood everywhere, like, you know, all these evil, like, powerful, like, ninjas with all these weird powers. You know, obviously there's, like, a lot of, you know, risque stuff in there. So yeah, I can see why this film was popular over here, because we like risque things. We like blood. We like gore, we like guts, you know, we like swords. We like all these things because we're American, you know what I mean? We're gonna fight each other with all the swords. We like cheeseburgers. We like grills. Anyway, yeah, so I just really think that this movie is at its best when it's just swords fighting each other, right? But is the story bad? No, it's just, as I said, not important. The story is basically as simple as there is, our main character is like this wandering, like, ninja, right? He's wandering, and then he comes across this old guy after, well, he saves this girl from this weird rock man, and they both run off. He saves her and they run off into the forest, and then other stuff happens, not really that important. And then the rock guy finds our main ninja, and he tries to fight him, and then he just dies, right? And then he fucking impales himself on his own boomerang sword, right? And then there's an old man who, like, he's like, hey, you should join me. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. And then he almost gets killed by this other because I think they're called the 8 demons or the 8 devils or whatever, and they're like evil bad guys who want to rule over Japan with an iron fist, I suppose. They don't really explain exactly what they're gonna do. They just say that, oh, we're gonna rule over Japan in the shadows, right? They never really explain what they're gonna. I mean, they're the bad guys, so you can assume they're gonna do bad things, right? They are called the 8 demons, so I wouldn't assume that guys called demons would be very good to rule a country. But yeah. So then another demon attacks him, almost kills him. But then the old man comes back and throws a shuriken into his shoulder because he was getting kind of like in a trance. He's getting kind of entranced by this like evil naked snake lady. But then he throws a shuriken into his shoulder, which snaps him out of it. And then the lady flees. She like kind of, I don't know what happens. Like she has like dead skin. You know how like snakes shed their skin? Like it looks like there's another snake in the in there, right? You know what I mean? You probably know what I mean. I'm just bad at explaining it, but like that's what it looks like. But then the old man's like, I poisoned you with that shuriken. And so essentially he's kind of forced to work, and then they get the girl, and then the whole movie is them just hunting down the rest of the demons until the final battle with the leader of the demons, right, who was like this immortal guy who reincarnated himself. He can like rebuild himself, and he has like history with the main guy. And they have like, because before he like got the jump on him and chopped off his head, right, but then he came back and he's like, that's impossible. I killed him, right? But then he used, like, magic. I mean, everybody's using magic in this movie. So he used magic to reincarnate himself, and then they have a big climactic final battle where the final villain just dies, like, 3 times, and then he just goes back together, because obviously you can't kill him by conventional means. He can regenerate, right? So then, the only way to stop him... So they had, like, fucking, like, 100 crates of solid gold bars filled to the fucking top of the chests, and they were just like these small little ninja guys were just able to like run with the like. How heavy is an average, like a normal, like a 1 gold bar? How heavy is that? Like those are heavy on their own, right? But an entire stack of them in a wooden chest. I don't think like these small little ninja guys, unless they also use magic to run with them. I mean, maybe they could. They're ninjas. I remember that one movie where the ninja was, like, they chopped the ninja in half, and then there was a ninja inside the ninja. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. But, yeah, so so there was this one demon girl, and she had, like, I don't know what her power was specifically. I guess, like, she kind of, like, Frankensteined some of these people. Like, they were, like, she would kill something, and then, like, maybe put bombs in them and like stitch them back up, so kind of like a decoy, I guess. I don't exactly knew how it worked, but one of the pompous demons who I really liked because he was just really funny because of how much of a dick he was. Like the girl, like the bomb Frankenstein girl, she liked him, right? And she wanted to be with him, and he's like, what did he say? It was something really funny. He's like, you are of no interest to me, or something like that. You do not interest me. Just, like, completely blunt. It was really funny. Like, I could tell, maybe they were trying to make him funny, or were they trying to make him, like, despicable? I don't know. I thought he was funny. His death was kind of lame, though. He didn't get, like, a cool, gory death. He just blew up. Like, the girl just killed him. I thought he could have gotten a funnier death, because he was funny. But, she blows him up, because she has these explosive powers. I guess maybe she can also blow up. Because there's a scene where at the end of the movie, they blow up the ship and set it on fire by setting her on fire. So I assume she is made out of explosives, which I think is pretty dangerous, honestly. Probably shouldn't have that around gold or anything wooden or anything, honestly. So, so then the gold melts from the heat of the fire, and then it goes in, kind of like covers the big bad guy in gold, and then he sinks to the bottom of the ocean, and like he's probably just stuck there for the rest of his days. Which is bad, too bad for him, right? Too bad for that guy. But yeah. Then there's also a bit of a side plot with there's a ninja girl in the movie who's she's like one of the main three, the old man, the main character, and her, right? So she has a thing where so I told you about the evil boomerang sword guy. The reason he died is because he assaulted her, right? But then it was revealed that she has like poisons and toxins in her body. So like anybody that has sex with her dies, right? So that's how he died earlier. But then like she kind of has a bit of a subplot, like kind of romantic subplot with the main character. You know, it's not, as I said, there's only a couple scenes with it, and it is not a focus. And again, the story is not that important, right? Again, it's just big action. Get to the action, right? I feel like a majority of this movie is action. And then, so I don't know. There was a romantic subplot there, and then she dies, which is more of a driving force for the main character to defeat the evil bad guy who killed the love interest, right? But there is also a bit of like kind of sexism in the writing, obviously at the time. So essentially, the main character is like, "Oh, you can't do that. You're a woman. I'll fight for you," right? But she's clearly capable, right? She saved his life multiple times, but he thinks he needs to save her multiple times. I mean, it hasn't aged very well, you know, in that regard. I mean, it is a 30-year-old movie, so I guess that's a given. Some things are bound to not age very well, especially in 30 years. I mean, obviously, if we release something now, do you think it's going to age well in 30 years? Probably not, right? So that's a given. But anyway, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. But did I like the movie? Let's just get to a bit of conclusions here. Did I like the movie? Yes, I did like it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was very enjoyable. I thought it was entertaining, right? And that's all you can ask of a movie, right? Unless it's there to scare you, and it's like not entertaining, but it's kind of entertaining. I don't know. I'm just gonna go on another rant. I don't know what I'm doing. We like to have fun on this show. But let's wrap it up. So, would I recommend this movie? Yeah, I'd recommend it, you know. If you're a fan of, I guess, like, old school, like, 90s anime, I think you could get some enjoyment out of it. I mean, if you're a fan of, like, I guess, like, ninja movies, you know, action movies, you could get enjoyment out of it. It is, again, mainly an action movie, so I think you would enjoy it. And, yeah, I think I would rate this film a 7.5 out of 10. And, yeah, I think it's something to say. I think it's something to peace. So, guys, hope you liked this video. Share your friends, subscribe to notifications on, comment below if you liked it. And I've been Runtime HD. Off to battle evil ninjas. You know, I think they call them ninjas, right? But they don't look like ninjas, at least not to me. Maybe, like, ninjas can look more than, like, the stereotypical, like, the balaclava ninjas. Like, maybe they can look different. But whenever I think ninja, I just think, like, you know, like the all-black outfit, you know, the mask, you know, the little thing. Like, the only ninjas that look like ninjas in this movie are, like, the grunts that get fucking butchered by the main character in, like, 2 seconds, right? So, I mean, maybe leave it down in the comments. Are there other ways? Are there, like, the stereotypical ninjas not the only way ninjas can look? Probably, and maybe I'm just ignorant. I don't know. Let me know. You probably won't, but I'd appreciate it. Let's talk about ninjas in the comment section, guys. Who's your favorite ninja?